Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hospitality Today Live. We are so thrilled that you are here with us today, and we've got a special guest for you. And we want to make sure that you're going to be very well entertained with a lot of content today. So hang on, and we'll be right back with Sheila Smith. That's who I want to talk about today, as a matter of fact. So here's the thing about Sheila. I'm Deborah Gardner, your host, and I want to tell you a lot about her because the episode today is going to be heart-wrenching. Sheila has had a lot of struggles, a lot of challenges throughout this pandemic, and we want to make sure that you all can see what is going to be happening to her personally and professionally. But first of all, I want to say that today's episode is sponsored by the Arizona Screen Print, the best custom t-shirt and embroidery shop in the West. And again, while each week here at HTL, we have a lot of talented and dedicated, wonderful hospitality industry folks and with their stories, experiences, and lessons. And today I want to introduce to you Sheila Smith. Now, she actually has held a lot of important roles from sales, catering, management, media relations, civic and community relations as well. And she has experienced some devastating struggles during the pandemic. And she's here again, willing to share some of that information with you that she's been going through the last few months. And yet, we continue to face the decline of the industry's S&P 500, travel restrictions, lockdowns, and unemployment that just continue to spread across the globe. But again, Sheila is going to tell us what she's doing about it. So let's bring Sheila in and hear what she has to say.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you very much for offering to let me speak. I must say it's an honor to be here. I really appreciate it. You were a keynote speaker when I first met you with one of the hospitality conferences. We ended up becoming accountability partners because I was the odd man out and you offered to be my accountability partner.
Right.
So that was really cool. And we've tried to keep in touch. And I think you're an inspiration and I appreciate this opportunity. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's a delight having you here as well.
Thank you.
I can sit here and I can talk about your bio, which is like pages and pages long. You've got such great experience here in the industry. I thought I'd leave it up to you to share with our viewers a little bit about who Sheila Smith is.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. During the course of my varied career, I have been involved directly and indirectly with hospitality with quite a few different positions. I am typically outgoing, highly motivated, and positive. I like to be that way because I think it makes life much better, work-wise and personal-wise. I did get an MBA and have credentials, having worked at Flint and Genesee County Chamber with a CGMP, a GMS, and I also got a certified financial certified fundraising management. So I've gathered quite a bit of experience in hospitality. The key position, as I mentioned, was Flint and Genesee, where I was a sales manager, their convention sales manager, and I joined SGMP, MSAE, and other organizations like that. I think I had training from MPI and some different ones. I enjoyed focusing on Flint, promoting and trying to get business to come into the community. We have an outstanding community with a phenomenal cultural center that a lot of people aren't aware of, but they found out during that period. I've also been a senior multimedia consultant for MLive, which is Michigan Live, which carried me through a variety of businesses, including many hospitality. I've been assistant general manager for and live entertainment program, and on the executive management group of a retail and entertainment complex that was first to come to Flint out of a corporation that I'll talk a little bit more about later. And also manager and marketing director and supporter for different performing arts centers and some other places like that. So I think that my experience has certainly helped me to persevere and succeed. I was born and raised in Flint, Michigan. I graduated from Flint Central High School. school, went away to Kalamazoo College, got a Bachelor of Arts in Arts Management and Music Performance. And then I came back to Flint to start my career. And I've been here ever since, trying to create positive experiences.
Wow, wow. So how many years have you been in the industry altogether then?
Oh my goodness. More than I should probably say, 30.
Oh, as long as I am, right?
25, yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, yeah, that's about right. Well, it's a very impressive resume, I have to tell you, and that's what I find about the hospitality industry. There's so much talent, so much dedication out there, and when I got a chance to meet you, it was a shoo-in to have you on the show because I know you're going to be able to have the industry professionals relate to what you especially have been going through, during the pandemic. As a matter of fact, I want to know where and what were you doing when the pandemic hit, which was, back in March area.
March, yes. Actually, I was working in education at the time. I was teaching as a substitute and also accompanying choirs. And that particular day, we had competition. We were at a very large organization and auditorium in the area. And so we were around thousands of kids in this building, elbow to elbow, packed in, doing constant competitions. I mean, every hour it was like, go here, okay, warm up, perform, test, blah, 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 blah. So a friend that happened to be there, also a musician, and she was accompanying a group. And she said, have you heard the news? They're saying on the news, people need to go home. There's this pandemic, this outbreak, blah, 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 blah. I said, no. And I'm thinking, okay, a few people maybe got sick. By tomorrow we'll be okay. No, that's not what happened. So we finished the competition and I went home to hear that, there was a panic of the outbreak. And I just prayed we'd all be okay because they said, don't stay in close quarters. And the next thing I know, school is closed and we are not teaching or choiring or doing any of the other things that we like to do. So I stayed home at that point. It's just amazing how quickly life can change. And you just have to continue to make the best of what there is.
Right, exactly. And I think a lot of people experience the same thing. It's like, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do now? And where is everybody going to go? And it's almost like everybody's running to the hills.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much, everybody being announced that, hey,
that was March.
Yeah, exactly. So since then, of course, what have you been doing, since then, especially during all this craziness, from that announcement to now, what has your life been like?
Well, I think I'm as busy during COVID as I was before. I mean, first we have to do all the preventative cleaning and preparing and masking. Hopefully everybody's doing. Working with the school and education, I became unemployed. I'm sorry. And so being unemployed, it was evident this wasn't going to change in the near future. So my work ended in March and I was with the first wave of those unemployed seeking unemployment, or so I thought, because when I tried to get through online and as well on the computer, as many people have said, you just can't get through most of the time. So to no avail, I waited for months, but the only fortunate thing after weeks of calling was that I happened to have a friend. So case in point, just ask people that you know. I had a friend who turned me over to another friend he had. She tried to help me for weeks get in. And this, granted, was not her job, but she had access to look at the system. So after we tried for weeks, then she gave me a phone number to a person that I found out had volunteered through her job with, I guess it's Michigan Works. She was offering to help people and they had given them a brief sheet of paper with information and told them what to do, but they still weren't experts.
Right. And then
I tried to get them through, and finally we got connected. and I got through. And the problem was that my birth date was different in the system for some crazy reason than what it actually is. And it kept telling me wrong birthday, but I got through, and months later, I ended up getting employment. So for those of you that are doing it, just hang in there, because it is definitely delayed, but you will get it. And then I've been, home wearing a mask when I go to the store and not spending too much time anywhere else. My four-legged little brother passed over the Thanksgiving holiday. So it's been bittersweet with that, especially during the pandemic and not having him around to hug. And I know all too well. In recent years as well, several, several of my close family members and friends have had some very serious illnesses and passed. And I've taken responsibility as executor and personal rep and care coordinator and supporter, basically, which takes a toll on you when you're trying to work full time. And the paperwork and the responsibility and all that other stuff lasts for years. It doesn't just end, as many of you know, I'm sure, when the person passes or shortly thereafter. So I'm the last Smith on my dad's side of the family at this point, but I'm still working on organizing, getting all that stuff together, and hopefully being able to enjoy some new things that I find. I've also continued to look for jobs and follow up with applications, as I already had. So many businesses closed, or they have limited access now, and limited hours for the employees, that it's difficult to get a hold of people to find out anything, or even let them know that you're, still interested and wanting to contact. I've received a few phone interviews, which was kind of pre-pandemic, just before, and typically no response. And, with life's changes, I just tell the interviewers, when they say if you're overqualified or underqualified, times change, life changes. This is my interest right now. Here's why I'm a great fit. Here's how I can benefit you. This pandemic, I think, was kind of a higher being telling us to slow down a little bit, enjoy the small stuff, what's beautiful in your life. Families are getting back to having dinner together, enjoying special moments, and spending time with those that you care about. So, make the most of it.
Right, right. Well, I know that throughout the hospitality industry, despite being 11% of the pre-pandemic workforce, a full 40% of hospitality workers are still unemployed. Mm-hmm. And that is causing a lot of stress.
Sure.
And I know you and I talked about this, that, there's this concern of mental healthness, and depression and burnout, all of this that's just been impacted by the pandemic. And I've talked to a lot of the frontline and the back of the house hospitality folks that are going through that right now. And I know you can actually associate with that, correct?
Mm-hmm. Almost definitely. I just kind of continue. One big thing I'm doing is continuing to keep a daily schedule of things that I want to do. And I make notes of things, sometimes you just think of it, but I make notes of things, because right now it's so easy to forget with all the confusion of day to day, but I try the best to stick with it. You have to stay on top of your game and try to accommodate these changes that are happening. Learn new skills, utilize the free training if you can't pay. Many of the organizations, including our hospitality organizations, are doing webinars, seminars. They are videotaping, meetings from prior or remote programs that they have. Check into it and see what's going on. There's also training for minimal fees from some of the organizations. I access all those. Go ahead.
So what you're saying is some of the advice that you're giving to folks on doing what you need to do. The first one was learn new skills.
Learn new skills and utilize free training. Yes. Learn new skills. Utilize your libraries even. Talk to people. There's organizations now, particularly not for profit, that need volunteers or need people. But if you know somebody that maybe you can volunteer to help with the work, meanwhile learn how to do certain procedures and get some experience in there. But find out what they're doing and what their virtual training is. research topics of interest, access, like I said, the libraries and other different materials. And another thing is surround yourself with experts, with people that are more gifted than you are, with people that you look up to, potentially maybe even a past boss or somebody you want to work for. Introduce yourself, stay in touch, use the email, phone, contact them in person if you can, when you can, and just show interest and offer to help with their projects. Offer them suggestions for things to do, or look for people that you would like to have as a supervisor or a colleague and try to make a connection with them. Another thing is keep a positive.
That's a good idea. Can you tell me um, who are the successful people or supportive people that you hang out with? Are they teachers? Are they family? Are they coaches? Where are you getting your support?
I have some family. My mom, of course, is motivating me, but I have friends as well. And right now I'm doing my best to keep in touch with business colleagues and people that, are business owners, even maybe, or more of a leader type in the community. Just say hi, how you doing? What's going on? Anything new? Any tips? Hey, do you have any ideas? I'm looking at this one organization. Do you know anybody there you might be able to link me with to find an opportunity?
Are you calling them? Are you
I typically call and text at this point. I think there's been a backlog if you are not that close with them and maybe don't know them. Definitely send an email and then I'd follow up with a phone call. But yeah, I typically try to keep it because I think people are responding a lot faster right now to text and phone too, unless it's general business or something you've established.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I think there's a lot of people out there that want to help too. It's just a matter, like you said, act, reach out to them, and be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable, and say, hey, look, I'm dealing with this. I have, I'm going through this. What can I do? What have you done before? Asking unusual questions that we're not used to hearing or asking about is okay, right?
Right, correct. And all they can do, the worst they can do is say no, or I'm just swamped right now. Can I get back with you? So, okay, sure. Have a nice day. And then get back with them. If you don't hear from them, just get back with them again and be nice. Be really nice.
So what is your third idea to get things going, getting on track?
Well, as I said, be nice. Keep a positive attitude and smile. Smile when you get up. Look in the mirror and smile. A lot of people, when they're doing phone sales or talking on the phone, put a mirror right there so you can see your face. And if you're frowning, turn it to a smile, because all of a sudden your voice often starts to sound a little bit happier and healthier and a little more excited. But I always think back to Patrick Swayze, was it in Roadhouse, when he had all the people tearing up the place, and he told all of his staff as everybody was fighting, be nice, just be nice, kill them with kindness, walk them out, be nice. If they start fighting, be nice.
Right. That's all it takes. So how do people create positive experiences by having a positive attitude and smile? How do you do that? Do you practice? You mentioned stand in front of a mirror, right?
Yes, definitely. Looking in the mirror and smiling at yourself. And if you look at the mirror right away, you might not see a big smile just because you're thinking about something's going on. You've had, a trauma in your life, whatever, but it's one way to keep it top of mind. I know some claim, I had a couple notes here, that it takes 17 muscles to smile and 43 muscles to frown. There's a few different claims and none of them have been presented, but most of them are more muscles or less muscles to smile than to frown. And there's another research that says 23 muscles to smile and 62 to frown. But why not smile and make yourself happy and make others happy? It's a great way to interact, and people stay a lot more positive. I had a few applications out before the pandemic, and I just try to stay in touch and watch for the websites and check for openings and new things. And every time, if they're upset or in a hurry or whatever, I just say thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And you have a great day.
Got it.
And it seems to keep people positive.
Well,
And I
those
know,
are really good points. I think everyone can see that those three areas that you just mentioned is something that anybody can do. And it, actually, sometimes it's just a matter of doing the easy things. And although those 3 points might seem hard, they really aren't. Just a matter of getting up off the couch and moving.
right. And I guess I could add to that with a few, tricks of just killing them with kindness and following up with thank yous, drop off notes, or maybe a special treat or something like that. Make sure you follow the directions and be selective on the jobs. Don't just apply to everything, because sometimes they look at that and then the employer will think, oh, well, they're not really concerned about me or my business. It's just about getting a job. So
Right.
make sure you do a cover letter as well and highlight your achievements and your talents for them so that they can see that clearly. And direct
Right.
your information to a specific person. Often it says HR at, or it says some other word, but you don't have a name. Call the organization or call somebody that might know. Just try to find out even if it's not correctly the specific person, if you get to the HR department or that department, they'll see it and then they'll go, oh, I wonder how they knew who that person was. That's pretty neat. And always be professional and pleasant. Tell them what you can do for them. Special promotions or commitment, all that. Proofread your information too. Please be sure to do that, because I know in this day and age, we are so computerized that the computer does quote unquote proofread, but it doesn't always come out quite the way you had wanted it to if you don't double check it. So,
yeah. Well, if you all are just joining in right now, I'd like to welcome you to HTL Hospitality Today Live. And we are here with Sheila Smith, who is willing to, again, share and be very open to what she's been going through these last couple of months. And if you've missed the first part, you're going to definitely want to go and look at the replay, no doubt. And I'm sure if you have the same type of situations or stories as well, hey, we got the chat box here for any comments or questions for Sheila, because that's what she is willing here to be with all of us, to be more open and share what we've all been going through. As a matter of fact, Sheila, I do have one comment from Lisa here. If you can read it, she's asking, what's the best way to keep a schedule on your computer or written down in a book or somewhere, posting it? Any type of advice for Lisa, what she should do?
Lisa, that's a good question. And, I would say that all of those options work for some people. And if you're already organized and using one of those, hey, go for it. I personally, and I used to always keep a hard copy calendar, and I kind of half keep it now, but I have everything appointment wise or specific thing that I have to do in my phone now. And I just kind of refer to that because my phone's always with me. And sometimes you set down some of those other things or walk away from them. But I, keep based on time each day. And I think that your phone or a calendar, Franklin, has always worked, but there are a couple of other calendars that you can find now at like Walmart, Target, wherever, a lot of the different local stores that have the time frame and the day. You can figure it out that way. If your schedule is kind of more of a once a week meeting or something like that, you may want to do something different. But sticky notes always help. I've had those in every one of my offices and on my computer and everywhere else. So
yeah, any way to remind you. And we've got we've got a big fan of yours here. Dinesh, hey, sexy.
Oh,
Make sure, I guess you know him, but we appreciate that kind of comment around this show. We can utilize that, especially when it's live and we've got a little hiccups going on in the show. So that makes us feel good, right?
yes. Thank you.
And then Lisa, Lisa has another question for you here too.
Okay.
While we're trying to pump up our skills, that you were talking about earlier,
Hmm.
should we, be donating our time to organizations? What can help us with those skills?
Definitely donate your time to organizations. I mean, adopt a pet is a great way to spend time and have a warm, fuzzy being with you and make you feel good all over. So, or any type of pet adoption. You can also, I'm just trying to think. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. On other options, you can volunteer nonprofit. There's
Right.
all kinds of organizations that need
Point.
now especially help. I mean, they don't have income, they don't have the regular staff, and they don't have people coming in to utilize their facility. Therefore, their budget has been crunched. So,
Right.
most definitely, do volunteer work. Assist at, even soup kitchens, if they're still functioning, or places that feed the needy, give offer materials and clothing and different types of things to Salvation Army or Goodwill. They are up and open again, and they are all being utilized by the things that you offer.
So should I be cleaning out my closet right now?
Well, sure, if you have some things that you aren't utilizing, why
Right.
not?
Exactly. Well, those are good questions. There's no doubt about that. So tell me, at this time with the hospitality industry, let's go in a little bit different direction. What
Hmm.
do you think is the biggest mistake in the hospitality industry right now? What should be happening with especially those 3 points that you shared with us?
Hmm. Well, based on my observation at this point, I know Marianne, is it Bobro, one of your prior guests,
Yeah, on
had
our previous
mentioned,
podcast with Marianne.
yes, and that was a really good broadcast. For those of you that haven't seen the previous programs of Deborah's, you should check them out. But she was talking about thoroughly thinking and knowing what your contract says, and making sure that you actually read each contract clause thoroughly, thinking, not thinking that you know what it says, but actually comprehending it. Because so many times things are different. And what I have found in the hospitality industry is listening, which in a way correlates with that, listening and reading, but just waiting for your client or person that you're talking to finish their thoughts. Do you actually hear all of what they're saying and comprehend it, or are you so excited, which I've been in that situation, so excited because I wanted to tell them the information that I had and get them all excited and make a sale or whatever, that I was kind of cutting them off, maybe too eager, trying to finish their sentence, perhaps confuse their point even, and worse yet, you can potentially lose an opportunity. So
Right.
you need to stay in the game and listen right through. And working on a project at the chamber, I needed some information I wasn't finding. One of the leaders had offered to help me out, and he contacted a high level speaker that I hadn't met because I had just started at the chamber. And during what I was trying to get more information from him, we started talking, and he was telling me so much and talking so long. During the second hour of the conversation, I was getting a bit frustrated and having a hard time concentrating, though I was taking, notes and trying to retain it all. And I talked to the leader afterwards, and I asked him about the experience. And I said to him, I know that was an investment and we spent quite a bit of time together, but I'm not sure if I got what we were actually looking for. Which, when you put yourself in this position, he said, so my question is, did you learn one thing from that conversation of wasted time? He called it wasted time just because he saw my frustration in my face. And I thought about it and I said, yes. And proceeded to tell him what it was. And he looked at me and he kind of smiled and he walked off. Point made. Did you learn one thing? So, and I've never forget that. So ask yourself if you're in the middle of something and maybe you're thinking you're not learning even, and try to continue to smile, obviously, but did you learn that one thing? So I think that's a great key. And then know in advance all the materials that what you need to be prepared with and what you are seeking from them to gather. Let your person that you're discussing talk, listen to them, look attentive, create a positive experience. We're back to the positive experience. And you might have, a commitment that could make all the difference to their success if you've, made them feel good and happy and they feel that you're a good person to work with.
Right. Well, and all of these are almost like getting back to the basics. So you're talking about listening in particular. I think we need to hone down on listening to the customer, listening to the employees, listening to each other. It really is about being true to our industry when it comes to the foundations and the basics of the industry. So I appreciate that input. So regarding what you have gone through this last couple months, is there any advice that you would give to those that are struggling also? That they're facing as well? And what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I'd say look at this as many learning experiences rather than struggles. We are all in a position that we have to learn at this point. Ask yourself if you're struggling and you don't know where your next step is or what your interest is, where are your talents? What are your interests? Who are the contacts that you have that, hey, they're really successful. They're doing something great. Who do you want to know? That's an opportunity to introduce yourself. What do you truly enjoy to do? It might not be definitely your career or something to do with your career. It might be a hobby. It might be something that you haven't even ever tried before.
Right.
So, be open to other new things.
I like that. Trying new things. The thing about trying new things is that you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. That's the beauty of trying something new. You might think that you're starting from the beginning, but you're really not.
Right.
What is so new, that you want to try that you've never got an opportunity to try. Now is the time to do it. And you just need to know you're going to be utilizing whatever experience. And I see that with the hospitality industry because we see a lot of professionals that are leaving the hospitality industry. However, what they're saying also is no matter where they go, it's hospitality. So that's the beauty of our industry.
I feel the same way.
Where, I see and hear about people are going into assisted living, chefs from hotels are going to assisted living. I've seen people going into mortgage, real estate industry. So no matter what they do, it's going to be hospitality. That's the beauty of our industry.
Right. And case in point, my first full job was a direct result of my piano capabilities. A friend and past colleague that I had worked with when we were in high school and college, he asked me to play for dinner music, piano music for a reception for this major corporation during their cocktail hour. And I accepted. And my friend said, oh, by the way, bring your resume. And I said, oh, okay. So I brought my resume, and a week later, I got a call from the company in Columbia, Maryland. And I was told, it was in midday when I was working at my previous part-time job, there's a plane ticket waiting for you at the airport, and you need to be in Columbia, Maryland tomorrow morning to interview with the CEO. And I was like, oh, wow. So you
never know when those opportunities are going to come about.
Yeah. So of course I was thrilled. And this was all stemming from a friend that I had kept in touch with that thought of me and asked me about it. He looked out for me. So, really evaluate yourself and do a self-assessment of where you want to be and what you want to do. And if you're stumped, ask your friends, ask your family, people that are close to you. Check it out and see, people, undoubtedly someone that has a suggestion for you or think that you do a great job at something. So set a timeline of where you want to be in the next few weeks or months or years, And I found that giving yourself the assignments, as we talked before, and that means from my perspective, a calendar works really well. Even if you just spend 5 minutes at something that you really want to do or need to do, you've got some time in there. And I've just found that that really works out, along with career and personal growth. If you aren't already doing it, don't forget, take care of yourself, be healthy, eat healthy, exercise, try to get some quiet time every day. And I know we in the fast paced lane of hospitality business
Yeah,
tend to be fast people all the time and don't take time off and don't break. And
right.
I personally can say that I almost crashed and burned myself. And I realized I had to make some changes to my life and start to slow down. But just make, smart, intelligent decisions as you do that.
Right. As I mentioned to my audiences all the time, it's all about slow down, to speed up. So
Right,
you
right.
just have to stop and just get in the slow lane and kind of cruise to get, kind of start thinking about what you need to do and not
Yeah.
panic, in other words. And one of my all-time favorite speakers is Jim Rohn, and he says, if you're going to be sitting at home on the couch, um, watching TV, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities right now.
Yes,
As a matter of
most
fact, he said
definitely.
12 hours of watching TV equals 15,000 a year.
Wow.
So don't let people laugh you as you're sitting there on the couch. You got to get up and
Hmm.
start moving and like you said earlier, trying something new and different. So
Hmm.
so let me ask you this: your last question here is what's next for Sheila Smith? What are you going to do from here on out? What's your game plan? Got any projects going? Are you waiting for 2021? Or are you going to start doing something new and different right now? What's next?
Well, I'm being selective with career options at this choice and trying to make the best choice of all of them until this is over. I hope I can work remote to some extent, but I would love to teach college locally or perhaps even a little bit drive away. That is something I'm very excited about if the opportunity lends itself. I'm continuing to learn and trying. I've been involved in a lot of remote programs and meetings at this point, so I'm jumping right in trying to participate. So far it really isn't that bad. I know some people are still a little skittish, but hey, once you do it, you've usually got it. So continue to do that. I'm meeting with my volunteer organizations and trying to support them as best I can. And you have certainly inspired me to develop my own website. We've talked about that a couple times, and I did already mention it to a designer that I know. So um, who knows what the future holds. I'm
Right.
keeping an open mind, and I've acquired some interesting positions previously because of my open mind. So I'm going to continue to be open and smile and be positive.
Oh, good for you. Well, I think that's wonderful. As a matter of fact, I really enjoyed hearing your three areas. I think that are very important. Learn new skills, hang out with successful and supportive people, and have a positive attitude and smile. If everybody can just try that,
Yes.
it'll brighten your day up from the start, and you just never know what those opportunities are going to look like, right?
That's definitely for sure. And in this day and age, miracles happen. So, hey,
They do. So where can everyone get a hold of you if they've got additional questions or want to share their story? Since you've been so vulnerable to be with us to share yours, maybe there's somebody else out there that would like to stay in touch with you. How can they get in touch with you?
I'd be happy to do that. And you're welcome to contact me by email. I believe it's running across the screen, but it's Sheila SM, SHEILA SM at umich.edu or on social media, whatever you would prefer. And I'd love to hear from some of you and see what your thoughts are and if you have anything to add to all of this.
That's great. That's great. Well, it has been such a pleasure to have you on the show. We've been wanting to get you on here for some time, and again, so appreciate everything that you have shared, and wishing you the best. And keep us in touch with what your developments are going to look like for the rest of this year.
I most definitely will. It's been a true pleasure and very fun talking with you. And I hope we can do this again sometime. And thank you very much. And thanks to all my friends and supporters. I really appreciate all of you. And thank you, Deborah. And be well. And I suggest everyone make someone new feel special today.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, well, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much, Sheila.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Well, that was Sheila Smith, and I hope that you really enjoyed this segment with her today. A very special show with her story. And if you you can see, if you want, you can see this episode again on Facebook on HTL. And if you have any questions, or if you want to be on the show or know somebody else on the show, please contact us at hello@hospitalitytodaylive.com. And now, to help kick off our second month on being on the air, we will invite a very long-time friend of mine, Karen Welp, a 20-year hospitality professional, and now with Temporary Ballroom. I've never heard of Temporary Ballroom, but she will share with us how venues are changing to the new reality of the industry, and along with her commitment that creates a valued partnership, and how that looks like for you as well as a partnership. And what it looks like for meetings and events in the near future. So don't miss this conversation with Karen Welp next Tuesday on Hospitality Today Live. Until then, in the spirit of hospitality, we wish you a very productive week.